So my little trip down the kind of rabbit hole, maybe it's more like a gopher hole, of Transformers Cyberverse continues with this guy. The battle call is now heard by Meteorfire in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, and the Autobot family. And Transformers versus G.I. Joe versus DC Universe versus Marvel, and all of my social media links. All of that's down in the description. If you want to help the channel, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. And this is Meteorfire. Here's the thing, I haven't been in, and I've said it before, I have not in for the whole line of Cyberverse. A lot of it is characters that I already have in my collection that I just don't need another version of. I don't need another Optimus. I don't need another Megatron. I certainly don't need another Bumblebee. But you know what? I never had a Meteorfire. And I never had a Wild Wheel. So not that long ago, I looked at Wild Wheel, and then this guy happened to fall in my lap. And you know what? Though simplified, there's something kind of charming and fun about this guy. And we're going to dive into why I think that, and what is charming and fun about this guy, and kind of what's a bit of a nuisance, when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And yes, here again we're going to heed the call of battle, so to speak. Now, I'm not really planning on picking all these up. In case you're wondering, am I going through everything? No, I'm not. I did get Wild Wheel because it was a new character, and I was intrigued to have a new version of the new character. And now we have Meteorfire, who is, again, a new character. I'm intrigued to have a version of the new character. And this is him and his packaging, and as always we're going to take a look at his packaging first. And yes, at this point I still have some of his bits and pieces still left in package, but it's basically your battle call packaging as we've seen kind of before. There he is on the side. He is the alien hunter, who is of course the best friend of Cosmos, who is I think, like, she's kind of young in the show. I mean, she's not in it a lot, neither is he, but nevertheless, kind of cool. Bit of a blocky, weird alt mode is shown here. We'll see how that translates when we actually look at the guy, but this is, of course, what we have on the back. In terms of function, Alien Interpreter. Guess they didn't want to say Alien Hunter. Oh, we've got these nice, simple, effective Cyberverse instructions. I kind of like the yellow and the purple because they do play nicely off each other. He also comes with two of these little blade pieces. They kind of go on the back of his hands, so to speak, and they sort of use a little 3mm port and peg system. The port is on this, the peg is on the arm. He also has two of these little, I don't know, wing pieces, I guess. There's a little rectangular tab on this that goes to a little rectangular slot on the outer edge of the wing. And then, much like Wild Wheel, there's a chest and face kind of guard shield section as well. There's little 3mm pegs on the back of this that go into slots on the chest. And indeed, here we have Meteorfire in all of his kind of robot-y mode glory. Now, of course, because this is Battle Call, this guy has the whole Battle Call gimmick. Maybe the best thing to do is kind of start off with that, because the light in his chest is pretty outrageous. We'll start with that and just see it as it is in this base mode first. And of course, just like with Wild Wheel, there's a section over there on the shoulder, and you can see just how bright this is now. And you can see by me talking that it does react to that. As a matter of fact, at some point, if I stop, it's probably gonna like really switch around a lot. Like that's what it does. That's what the gimmick is, okay? So we're going to turn that off. But this is him in his basic mode. In terms of his animation accuracy and his paint apps, well, he's pretty good. If we start from the feet and go up, The feet here are gunmetal gray. They probably should be a bit brighter, more like the white. The yellow that's on his shins should have a bit of kind of blue detailing like in right there, but I think I like the yellow, the like solid yellow better. The legs are right. Around his pelvis area should be blue, but it's kind of a grayish here. I'm okay with that. The arms are basically correct. Maybe some blue on the back of the hands, but they're basically correct. The chest is basically correct. The crest on his head should have some yellow, and on the upper and lower kind of edges of the wings, it should be blue. So this is pretty close. It's not perfect to the animation, but like if you know Meteorfire, you're gonna know this is Meteorfire. I'm gonna say it's a solid 8.5. Absolutely, a solid 8.5. Now what about the bits and pieces that can go on him? Well, I guess we'll put those bits and pieces on him now. Why not? Seems like as good a time as any. So we have a rectangular slot here, and we could take this, and it should fit in on that rectangular slot. We have one of his little sword pieces, and that should fit on the back of his hand, thusly. And you can see it's pretty easy to put it on. And we have 2 pegs here on the chest, or sorry, 2 peg holes on the chest, and we will line this up to go over those peg holes. It looks like this in the end, and if we turn that on, you can see how it shines up through his armor, I guess. Cool? Cool? Yeah, we saying it's cool? Why not? For the record, these blade pieces out over his hands, they're there in the animation, but they're your kind of usual, like, orangey, yellowy, kind of bladey type of color, not the blue, so that's not quite accurate, but like, whatever, it's cool, I'm glad that it's there. He's still at 8.5. What about the articulation for the guy? The arms, first the wings can kind of move out of the way a bit. The arms can go up and down. There's a wing back here in the way, but like, you got a pretty great range all the same. Way out to the side, no problem. No bicep swivel. Elbow, nothing at the wrist. So like, that's a bit too bad, but it's not, you know, detrimental too much. The legs out to the side. Again, like with Wild Wheel, no thigh swivel, just a wiggle on the ball joint. Knee to about 90, well, about 87 maybe. And because of transformation, I guess the toes can tilt up. So, you know, and no waist because of the electronics and, you know, for the gimmick inside. I get it. It's unfortunate that that's the case, but I understand why it would be the case for what it is. For a Cyberverse offering, it's not bad. I'm going to say that it's about an 8. You can score some pretty cool poses with it. He stands like a champ. A couple of things would be nice to have added, but I'm going to say it's an 8 for what it is. Here he is next to the aforementioned Wild Wheel, who I looked at in episode 745. And if you're not familiar with that as a size reference, here he is with Siege crosshairs, and I figured, hey, why not use crosshairs? You know, you see Ironhide, you see Ratchet, nobody gives enough love to crosshairs, so he's a good size deluxe. So with an 8 and an 8.5, I'd say the guy's scoring pretty good. We're going to do the transformation next. I'm going to take off that piece, but I'm going to leave the other pieces on. Mostly because why not? So we can bring this whole section up over, and then we can accordion out the body. And of course now the guy has gotten pretty tall, so I'm going to just reorient things here ever so slightly so we can deal with the upper body first. Okay, so the upper body is going to be the crux of the top of the plane basically, and we're going to bring the wings down this way, and we're going to flip up that whole section there. Now there's a little tab under the wing, and there's a slot here on the lower part of the arm. That will lock into position, and that will lock into position. And then basically we're going to put the lower legs together. They really just sandwich together. And then using the gray hinges here, we're going to angle the whole thing back. Everything goes angled back. And I'm just going to lay this down just to make it a little easier on us. Okay, and we make sure that those legs are together, and then there's... legs do like to kind of pop apart a bit. I'm not going to lie. least they do on mine. And then there's two little sections back right here and two tabs on this gray piece. They lock into position, and then last but not least, you flip into toes and flip into toes, and when you do so, you get thrusters here in the back. And if you really want to keep the armor on, apparently you can. And pardon me, I was struggling to know where to put this thing, this here. There's a start right here and a little start right here. And the idea is that you use the two little blue starts to kind of fit down over this. And it's supposed to fit on like that so that it's there thusly. It is actually fairly solid, like it doesn't really come off. I'm sort of impressed with it, but this is a bulky plane. It's like a Cybertronian version of like a Harrier jet. I think that's what they're called, those like big cargo-y planes. But the transformation to get here, no doubt about it, is pretty simple. Honestly, I'm gonna say it too is, it'd be nice if something else could be done with the arms instead of just having them hang out there, especially since there seems to be molded in VTOLs on it, not painted, and VTOLs up here on the wings, not painted. Like, they seem like they would work against each other. So it'd be nice if there was a way to reorient the arms somehow. But for what it is, again, it's pretty good. I'm going to say that the transformation is about a 7. Overall, this guy's about an 8. It's fine for what it is. Nothing spectacular, but still pretty fun to have in hand and flick back and forth between modes. And here we are, and here he is. So the things that are a nuisance. The head doesn't move, there's no bicep, there's no thigh swivel, and there's no waist. Those things, yeah, they're a nuisance, they're a pain. I wish that he had them. It does make for certain hindrances. I don't know how much of it is necessarily hindered because of the gimmick and how much of it is hindered because of the transformation. Like a waist, I think, is hindered because of the transformation. I don't see any reason why there couldn't have been a bicep. I don't see any reason why there couldn't have been a thigh, other than the budget went into the gimmick, and I think the gimmick does hinder the head. Nevertheless, he can score some cool poses, and he does have a fun, though simple, transformation. It's easy to go back and forth, and it's a new character. I'd like to support some new characters, some new blood in the franchise, so to speak. So I'm happy to have him. Is he perfectly animation accurate? No, but he's definitely close enough. And you know what? Maybe the argument could be made that the Autobots don't have enough planes. That might be a loose argument, but hey, it's the one I'm going to go with. I like the guy for what he is. That's the thing. You gotta not expect too much, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I know I certainly was. Let me know what you think about this guy. I appreciate you coming by, man. Give me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, don't forget there's a donate link. You can check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or, of course, you can just hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit subscribe, stick around the channel, have some fun with us, and don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.